I'd love for you to join the conversation. Call in 951-922-3532, 951-922-3532, and you can ask your questions directly to Ray. Now, we were just talking with the engineer about how the first three or four programs on this network were actually done from Ray's office. And this is a very timely time for someone like Ray to be with us. So let me just hand it over to Ray to introduce himself first, and then Ray is kind of like me; he never runs out of things to tell us that are good. So have at it.
So, hey, Jay, thank you for having me on again. And the first few shows were done out of my office in Newport Beach, and still have that location, but I've relocated to South Pasadena. So we're right now live in my South Pasadena office. Since then,
Great.
Yeah. Since then, we've actually expanded to about 3 other states. So we're operating out of Michigan, New York, recently Arizona. So I'm glad to be back, Jay. I've actually been in the insurance and financial coaching business for about 5 years. Prior to that, I had owned businesses in the technology industry, the entertainment industry. And, it was because of my need to learn things all financial and retirement. 5 years ago, I took a huge turn in my career choice after attending some classes and realizing how much I didn't know about retirement or building future income, be it for retirement or whatever.
One thing I'd like to warn the audience about is that I concentrate almost only on reverse mortgages. So you know a lot more about everything, almost all the different topics and items, and I'm pretty, generalized. So we need you in the conversation.
Yeah, well, I think that's what's also made you and I good partnership, because we can look at the situation from people's financial perspective on different angles and be able to come up with different solutions for them, be it retirement savings, insurance, estate planning, things like that. So again, thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here and wanted to talk about a few things. I think, there's an elephant in the room and we're not ignoring it, but, we have to bring
not
that
anymore.
up.
I lost
Right.
60 pounds.
Hey, you look awesome, by the way.
Well, thank you. I'm not
I
sure
love the
how good
beard,
you
man.
Well, yeah, it's because you've got one too.
I do.
I grew it because I was kind of lazy and being in the hospital for like 20 days. But, I'll leave it for a while anyway.
It looks great.
Well,
So,
anything that covers my face makes me look better.
so hey, yesterday we all know that our president tested positive, or at least the news came out that he tested positive,
Yeah.
and the first lady with the coronavirus, and that has sent shockwaves, no less, through pretty much everybody's living room, but also the financial sector. I'm not saying I'm surprised by it, but I'm not 100% like unfazed by it.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit shocking, but the past 6 months, we have to realize, like, this virus has affected so many different sectors in the financial institution or the financial world, which has done what? It's affected people's personal finances, and in regard to their retirement, that's been a huge one.
Yeah,
That's
a
affected
lot of people really had a knee-jerk reaction when all the shutdown was starting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And, hopefully some of those people got back in and regained some of their, but that sequence of returns is very important.
It is, and we have to remember, that a lot of folks, did, and we're going to kind of cover that, but a lot of folks did see some type of effect to their financial portfolio. Probably about 48% saw a 10 to 20% loss. But we have to remember, as we start to regain in the market, those losses have to be satisfied first before you add any
Right.
future income on top of that. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about how the coronavirus has affected retirement savings in particular.
Very important, right?
Yeah, and I want to look at the age range between 55 and 64, obviously up, but those are the critical years now for so many people that are getting ready to enter into retirement. But Jay, I think we need to look at how the situation was prior to the coronavirus in regard to the average American's saving for retirement.
Yeah, very
So,
true.
yeah, so I'm going to come at you with a lot of statistics, and I do want to tell you though there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but we need to get down to the nitty gritty of what's really been going on in our country, because without addressing what's really been going on with most American savings, we're not going to fix it, right? So we have to understand that there is a problem to begin with in the first place. So here we go. Are you ready, Jay?
I'm ready.
All right. So
Bring it on.
according to Dave Ramsey, right? 40% of workers aged 55 to 64, and this is prior to coronavirus, have no retirement accounts at all. Nothing. Zilch.
No, I believe that, and I've read that from a lot of people, not just Mr. Ramsey.
Exactly. Those that do have retirement savings of some sort, median balance is about $100 to about $140,000, right? So
that ain't gonna last long.
It ain't gonna last long,
I mean, and we'll include even with Social Security, that's not gonna last long.
No, and here's the shocking statistics about Social Security. 20% of married retirees rely solely on Social Security for the retirement income. 20% of married, okay? It gets.
I think you'd have to be living in some group of expatriates in Antarctica for that. No, it might be more expensive to live there because of getting things over there. I can't see how that can actually be successful, right?
It is not, and half of single retirees are relying on Social Security for the bulk of their income, right? So these are very disturbing factors when you take into consideration the average monthly income for a 62-year-old on Social Security is about $1,992. Not very much to live off of.
No.
Right? Okay?
No, you're right.
And unfortunately, the good old days are gone, right? The good old days when we had pensions, okay? Most folks are relying on some type of an employer retirement plan like a 401k. But what that's done is it's put almost all the responsibility of saving on who? The employee.
Yeah, personalized, basically.
Exactly.
And when you're young, you're not thinking about the health problems you're going to have when you're 75 and 80. So I know. So, those bells don't start ringing till you're much older. So when you're younger, those people have to be in contact with others like you to make things happen and to remind them what's going to happen.
Exactly. And when you bring up healthcare, there was a poll done recently, and most people in the upper age group, I'm going to put myself there, I'm 54.
Oh, no. 54. You're about 20 years younger than I am.
Well,
I can't
I'm going to get to your age
when
someday.
I was 54. Yeah, let's hope you get there, and let's hope we both get beyond.
Exactly. But most folks thought they'd need about $50,000 to cover healthcare costs of retirement. The actual estimate, though, for a couple 65 years and older is closer to about $220,000, right? And that doesn't even include costs for nursing home care. And it's estimated that about 70% of retirees are going to need some type of nursing home care during their retirement, okay? Yes. And then there's debt. There's just because we get older doesn't mean that we're debt free. So
Correct.
people in their 55 years to 64 years of age are spending about 22% of their earnings on debt. That's huge. That's about a 69% increase, right? In less than 20 years.
And you know what? Maybe because of this lockdown thing, and I'm not thinking it's because you can't go out to eat at a restaurant that you want to, but those waiters, waitresses, dishwashers, and owners, those people are really hurting, and then they can't go out to whatever, but there's a lot of people really hurting.
Exactly. So that was pre-COVID. Now let's talk during the pandemic, what's going on. Okay.
Okay.
As of today, about 50 million Americans have applied for unemployment. So remember, I said the financial situation is going to be different, right? Future and today, whether or not you're working, you've been laid off, or you've been encouraged into an early retirement, right? So
Right.
with the loss of income, obviously some people do what? They stop paying bills. That's one of the first things that they do. What is that going to affect? That's going to start affecting their credit score, which later on down the line, once they recover, is going to still have what effect on them being able to borrow on good terms. Okay, so
Right.
there's problem number
And
one.
they're going to be spending more on payments, no matter what
Exactly.
they're buying.
Okay, if they had an emergency fund, that thing is gone. Okay,
Yeah,
if they
because
had
you know
emergency
what?
fund.
The emergency is here.
Exactly.
That
And
black swan that we talk about once in a while is here.
prior to the virus, most people, were about three paychecks away from going broke. So if they lost three paychecks, they were done. Okay, then that would have to send them into borrowing, or again stop paying their bills. Okay,
Yeah.
most Americans, even today and prior to the virus, 40%, it's probably higher today, could not cover an unexpected $400 emergency expense. These are crazy numbers, right? Okay.
And that's nothing when your car breaks down.
Absolutely. That's usually about the average that it costs to get a car repair, is about $400, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ton of people have become, dependent on stimulus checks and expandless jobless benefits. And so what it's happening is they're losing ground. They're losing ground in their retirement planning,
Right.
and then there's the situation of those that have been forced into an early retirement, right?
Yeah.
Cut off from their employer-based retirement planning. Okay. A little bit more about that employer-based retirement planning. You cut me off when you've had enough, right? So about 44% of Americans have, I think I mentioned this, have said they've experienced about a 10 to 20% loss in their 401k plan since the pandemic, right, came full force here in America. Okay. Another 25% have no idea how their investments are doing, and 12% say they're too scared to look. They don't even want to know. I was like, bury my head in the sand. I don't even want to know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Those are huge numbers. 37.4% of workers nearing retirement have either lost their jobs or some source of their income, right?
Yes.
Okay. And about 29% of those, right, are expected to dip into their what? Their retirement savings to make ends meet. Okay. So these are pretty scary numbers, right, when you start looking at it from a perspective of the whole population.
I'd
Okay.
say very scary numbers.
Exactly. So the effect is going to be a couple different things. I mentioned one. Some people have been encouraged. Some people like to say forced, but they've been encouraged to what? Early retirement. Okay. Think airline industry. Think hospitality. Think the cruise industry. Think
Movie theaters.
Restaurants. I mean, it was what the soup plantation. Entirely closed down. Disney, I think, laid off about 28,000% of their Florida and Anaheim workforce today or yesterday. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Those that were lucky enough to keep their jobs, some employers stopped their contributions matching to their 401k plans. So again, we have another compounding situation where they're going to have to do what? Work much longer into the retirement just to meet their original retirement plan. Okay. And this is going to affect people, 50 years of age and above more so than anybody else. Okay. So has this been entirely doom and gloom? Not entirely, right? There is a segment of the population that's doing pretty good. Obviously, the wealthy and those with better paying jobs and careers have actually been able to save more money. They've cut their expenses back, and they've been able to start stuffing more money into their IRAs, to their 401ks, and different types of plans like that. That's great for them, but that's only a small percentage of the population. Okay.
Yeah.
Joblessness still continues. Okay. And that is going to have a huge impact on the recovery. So the question is, what do we do now? Where do we go from here?
That's the question.
Exactly, and I
And
think
the recovery is not going to be a straight line back up either.
no, and I'm not a virologist, right? That's not my field, but I think any logical person can see what's coming down the horizon in just a few weeks. We're going to start to
Yeah.
enter what? Flu season. We
Yeah.
we have the
Yeah.
pandemic still going on. So people need to start getting, prepared. They need to start getting ready. You know, I most people believe that the economy will rebound. We always do. The stock
Yeah.
market is going to
True. We
rebound. We
always do.
always do, right? But it's what you do now that's going to have a huge impact on how, at the end, everything's going to affect you. So, what do we
Have you
need?
had your flu shot yet?
I did. I actually got my
Good.
flu shot about a week ago.
I'm still on antibiotics, so it would do me no good to get one. But I'm looking forward to doing that. I think it's important, and for all the listeners too, it's important. I'm sorry. Go on.
No, and I actually wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to do it this year because every year that I do get a flu shot, I end up doing what? Getting sick anyway. But
Yeah, but maybe it's not as bad as if you would have not taken it.
well, yeah, I think you're right. So what do we need, Jay? We need a plan. The
Right.
average American needs a plan, and with about almost 50% of baby boomers never sitting with a financial planner in their entire lifetime, and now they're entering
True.
into retirement. Now's the time. People need to start educating themselves, on their personal finances,
Yeah,
on
I
the
would say,
retirement planning.
I've talked to several of the big companies you see advertised on TV,
Uh-huh.
and they don't want to talk to you unless you have $250,000 or $500,000. But that should not be looked at as the norm. I would say most financial planners want to start with everyone because you never know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And the plans, like you mentioned, should not just be for the wealthy and the affluent. I always tell people, look, if you have 1 million to 2 million liquid, you're probably going to get a call from Goldman Sachs, right? But if you do not have that kind of money, you're probably never going to get a call from Goldman Sachs. And so what that's done is it's left so many people out. We're still good? Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay,
That I
good.
know of, right?
I'm seeing something funny on my screen, but it's all good.
Are
Right?
you sure that's not a picture of me?
No, it's a picture of email. So somebody's loading Gmail
Oh,
account.
oh, I just checked it, but I had no idea screen sharing was sharing. So we can get that. We'll put a big picture of you up there
Okay,
instead.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. So where do we come in, right? Where do I come in? Where does our firm come in, into this plan
Mhm.
for America? You know, we work with people who are dead broke and in debt, and we work with the wealthy. We don't discriminate. Okay, so we want to get that done or get that across. What we do, Jay, is we put together, a very comprehensive financial analysis for free for every person that's requiring one.
You know
We
what? Let's just freeze right now and you give out all of your contact information because we could go through the whole show and forget to do that.
You got it. So the easiest way to contact me is via my phone, right? I
Mhm.
answer every call, 714-343-9206, 714-343-9206, or people can email me. And my email is my first name, Ray, Ray, dot Ramirez, Ramirez, dot RFM, Ralph Frank Mary, at gmail.com. So it's ray.ramirez.rfm at gmail.com.
Great.
Okay,
Great.
good. So I don't know what beats free, but if you find something that does, Jay, when it comes to, an analysis, you let me know. But I think that's a pretty good deal. And the 6 areas that we focus on, number 1, cash flow. Okay. Number 2, debt management. 3, emergency fund. 4, having
All of those are connected, yeah.
proper protection, wealth building, and wealth preservation. So we go through, a person's, financial goals and dreams and what are some of the things they want to accomplish. And it doesn't matter if you're 22 or you're 62. At some point in time, you're either not going to be able to work or you're going to want to stop working. So even in your later years, it's still good to get, an idea of like where you're at, okay, and where you want to
Right.
go, okay.
Yeah.
One of the things that we focus on is helping people ascertain what their FIN number is, FIN. And most folks I've talked to have no idea what that is. That's your financial independence number. So the easiest way to define it is the amount of income and savings you should have. So when you retire what? Comfortably until the day that you die. So we put these plans together. We do it for free. And what we do is we then, build a roadmap to people's financial independence. Okay, so that's, I think, one of the main things that people should focus on right now, if they already haven't done it, is get together. Call me. I was gonna say get together with a financial planner, but I'm more than capable. Call me,
Yes,
email
you are.
me, and we'll set up a time where we can Zoom, we can Skype, whatever it is that you need, and we can put together the plan for you. And again, there is absolutely no cost to do that for you. And there's no obligation whatsoever. The second thing, Jay, is that a lot of people have lost their jobs, and
Yes.
they've got a lot of time on their hands. And so what I'm telling people is, look, if you're in your 40s, 50s, even your 60s, I was telling you earlier, I have an agent who's 63 years old and just got her license. It might be a good time to start rethinking what you're going to do for your future employment. Okay. And yes, I'm partial to the financial service industry. I got a good article out of Investopedia, and it talks about becoming an insurance agent. Love them or hate them, they're necessary. Life insurance agent is necessary. And why is that? 40% of Americans do not have life insurance. That's a huge market out there.
Yeah, I do remember that Woody Allen movie Bananas, where it showed that where he was taken into a hot box in prison underground with an insurance agent.
Well, it's not that bad. I try to make it as fun as I possibly can for people. 60% of Americans have no estate plan, right? Trust,
Correct.
wills. Huge opportunity there.
And
40
they don't understand what a will does not do. You have to go through 3 years of probate or more, and they have no choice as how much to pay an attorney, no matter who you choose as your attorney.
Exactly. And we already talked about 40%, if not more, of Americans have no retirement savings. So there's plenty of opportunity out there to go and help people, right?
Right.
Let me just give you some more statistics. Right now, we've got about 1.2 million life insurance agents in the U.S. and about 300,000 licensed advisors. It's not a huge number for 328 million people.
Right.
There's about 500,000 people in California alone that have the real estate license. So when we start
but not very many are real active.
Right, but I mean, it just goes to show you the ratio of people who want to help people with their financial insurance needs, and there's a huge gap between who needs the help and who's available there to help them, right?
Right.
So even in our latter age, I started in this business about 5 years ago. I was in my late 40s. I have no intentions of ever stopping, but even in our later years, it takes a few weeks to get your basic life insurance license in almost any state here. I'm licensed in several states across this country. A few weeks. According to Wikipedia, this is one of the best ways, a life insurance agent, for people to start doing what? To start working toward a 6-figure income, right? And a lot of folks do that in their first year. Am I saying it's easy? I'm not saying it's easy, but what I'm saying is that it is possible, right? And right now, there's not a lot of options for a lot of people out there in the job market.
Yeah,
Why not
I
look
don't think easy is the key word. I think enjoyable is the key there.
True. But I mean, I get a tremendous amount of joy being able to go and ascertain a person's, financial and insurance situation, and to be able to guide them free of cost to them, right? And to help them to start planning for the future. So whether they're millennials or they're baby boomers, huge need out there, And I tell folks, I said, look at, there's one thing that all of us use almost every single day: money. Yet most folks have a very scant understanding of how money really works. for them in this country, and that's a huge problem. So, we've got a couple scenarios here where we can help people out. Number one, let's get a financial plan. Get somebody to help you. Number two, if you're actually looking for a new career choice, why not insurance? Why not, financial advisory? It's actually been an amazing journey for me, Jay. As you know, I've been able to work with different organizations, the Alzheimer's Foundation in Orange County. I've been able to teach classes here in Los Angeles with AARP. I've been asked to speak at different universities, and of course, your radio show. But there's so much need out there. I don't think we're ever satisfy the need for people to be able to get the education and the guidance that they should have. And it's not that they just should have. It's like a necessity for them to have this kind of information for their financial future.
Right. Absolutely. And I thought you were going to be able to talk more about that part of it, but time goes by, and the first part of what you were talking about was really very good. Of course, you can come back next week. I just had a vacancy just now. Say couldn't make it because he had to be at the dentist, so I feel sorry for him. So let me know. Otherwise, I'll try to fill that up with somebody else. I know you're very busy, but I think it's important for us older people to have something to do. Now, if it's a hobby, they can even look at financial planning as a hobby. You'll just happen to make a lot of money at the same time. But,
exactly.
That's okay.
That's terrible.
Yeah. I play a lot of records because I've got over 8,000 33s, but there's no money that comes out of the player when I do that. So I keep looking, but it just doesn't happen.
Well, maybe someday, Jay, huh? But anyways, let me go ahead and give my telephone number.
I'm just going to ask you that again. Also, make sure you give out your email, anything at all to get a hold of you. And
you got
any information. And remember, there's no obligation at all. There's just like calling me. No obligation, only education.
Exactly. So again, 714-343-9206, 714-343-9206, and my email is ray.ramirez, ramirez.rfm@gmail.com. So give me a call, shoot me an email, let me know what you need, let me know where I can help. And again, we work all across the United States. There's no issue with time. So give us a call.
Yeah. And remember, you're only calling to get information. You could be calling to begin a lifelong relationship also. But you know what? It's the listener. It's the person that does the calling that makes that decision.
Exactly.
And you can't make that kind of decision unless you're talking to people who really, really do understand. And I want to thank you very, very much, Ray. Brings back the old memories of the first few shows. And, I hope I can see you in person before too long. And I do get out into outdoor restaurants. So, if we want to do that kind of thing, I'm not afraid of that as long as we're outdoors and we're, a little bit farther apart than normal. And I just cut a hole in my mask to eat. So we're fine.
Okay. No lap sitting, huh?
No.
Empecé en pequeña rample